Are you thinking of moving to Lisbon? Do you want to know if Avenidas Novas is the right place for you and your family? Stay tuned as we're going to be sharing lots of valuable information for you. Let's do it. So let's look at Avenidas Novas as a whole. It's an easy area to translate as it translates to new avenues. And it really has to do, let me just clean this up here, with the fact that when I think of old Lisbon and the places that they're a bit older, they're down this area. And Avenidas Novas, it's over here. And what you will see when you visit Avenidas Novas is that you have wider sidewalks. It is a bit flatter. It's very rich in amenities. So when you think of an area to live full time, Avenidas Novas does have a lot going for it. You have high-rise buildings. You have a lot of commerce, multiple subway stations, so lots of metro transportation is really good. Food courts, supermarkets, everything that is reminds you of the New World a little bit. This is Avenidas Novas. For me, it brings me memories of places like São Paulo, because the architecture can be a bit similar, and so that's a bit of this area. So highly desirable by anybody, families, single couples, because of this just central and easy to live. The one thing that many times it doesn't have for those that are investing and moving into the areas a bit south is that the old world charm. You will have some Art Deco buildings. You will have a few older, early century buildings, but as a general, it has this 1940s, 50s, 60s forward kind of energy. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just different from those that are investing in places like Misericordia, Santa Maria Maior, and some parts of Santo Antonio. So now just looking over here at location, we're very near to Campo de Ourique, just off Santo Antonio, Arroios to this end. And it's interesting because there's some major arteries that link Arroios to the financial center of Santo Antonio. And part of why Arroios have become in recent years a very up-and-coming neighborhood. Alvalade here to the north, very still charming mid-century Portuguese neighborhood, really desired by the locals especially as one of the most sought-after areas to live. Chiado, which is benefiting just for its proximity to everything, so there's a university there. Really good energy. Still not a lot of expats investing in Chiado, but it's starting to get that attention. And so that's so quite central. Good transportation to the airport, to the old city, and very independent in a way. If you love Avenidas Novas, you don't need to live for absolutely anything. It does have everything going for it. When you think of parks, I always talk about that as those are the heart of the neighborhoods in Lisbon. You have a major one here, which is the Parque Eduardo 7. It's right north of Marquês de Pombal roundabout. So if you've been to Lisbon, you ran around Marquês de Pombal, that's a big green park just north of it. You have the Gulbenkian Museum, which is obviously, as the name said, it's a museum. And this year, they just opened a few weeks ago, the Modern Art Building. I haven't had a chance to see it yet, but everybody's raving about it. It is a museum, but it's also a beautiful garden. It reminds me a bit of the Pacific Northwest. The vegetation brings me a bit of Vancouver vibe when I'm there. And some fun facts about Gulbenkian, not only for the museum. In the summer, they host a lot of events. They have an outdoor amphitheater, great place to picnic, to have walks. So as far as greenery goes, this is some of the major points. You also have Campo Pequeno, which is not only a metro station, it's a beautiful old building that used to be, correct me if I'm wrong, it could still be a bullfight arena, but also acts as restaurants, concert hall, and a bit of a food court. It just have a bit of everything. You know, I go there when I need to get copies of keys, so it's a bit of everything. But lovely garden here. So again, no lack of greenery when you are in Avenidas Novas, and many of the roads have the very wide roads with trees in the middle for where you know, where the parking spot are available. Apparently, I'm struggling a bit with my English today. Perhaps it's 4 years of living in Portugal. Some days it's not as fluid as I would wish it to be. But I'm joking. I think it's always been that way. So okay, let's talk about prices. Let's break down first as a general view of Avenidas Novas, and then we'll break it down into purchase, rentals, 1 bedrooms to 4 bedrooms when the data is available, or 1 bedrooms to 3 bedrooms for everything. All right. So general picture: old, used ones on top, new ones on the bottom. Our typologies all the way from studios to 4 bedroom plus. We have been square meters going for asking between 3,700 to 11,000 a square meter, with sales between 3,000 and 9,500 per square meter. It's important to note that, you know, within Avenidas Novas, you have the sub-neighborhoods of Picoas, Saldanha, Campo Pequeno. Right? And within those, they're the more desirable areas, and the one that it's not that they're less desirable, but they're not as prime as some of the some areas are. So there's a bit of a difference between some pockets of Avenidas Novas and others, and that's why it's so important to make sure you have the right representation when you're looking to move to invest in Lisbon in general. And that's what we're here for. And if you feel like you're ready for a call, ready for a talk with me, click on the link below, schedule a Zoom call with me so we can discuss how it is that I can assist you and your family with this move to Lisbon, right? It is not about just a move. It's about making all the right moves to get you to the right place. So continuing in here with new projects priced anywhere between 6,500 to 13,500 per square meter, with sales between 6,000 and 9,700 per square meter. You see a bit of a discrepancy here. This is the average price for the top 5% of properties sold within that area in the last 12 months. What we could be seeing here is some inventory sitting of some perhaps overpriced projects or properties that are a bit harder to sell. And this is the reality here of a brand new project in Avenidas Novas. I would really say between 8,000 and 10,000, you get in some fantastic places that are brand new within this neighborhood. And when we're looking at the used ones, I would say, you know, 7,000, 8,000 will be the starting point. And again, you have a lot of old, I shouldn't even call it old, but places that are not marketed as new, but can be many times better than newer places due to amazing renovations, exposures, and anything that will make a property more valuable. Now we're gonna break it down starting with 1 bedrooms and studios, priced anywhere between 130 to $500,000 for 1 bedrooms and studios, with price per square meter ranging between 3,500 and 10,200 average, right? Very big discrepancy, 3 times. You're definitely, again, this sort of apartments here for a 1 bedroom, unlikely that would be to the palate of an expat moving to Portugal. I just like to be honest and saying that, you know, we don't usually visit those properties, and a lot of times they are in the areas that are not desirable, in a building that requires a lot of work, and it just doesn't cut the profile of most people that are moving here from Northern Europe and North America and other places really. And then when we're looking here at new developments, ranging anywhere between 200 to 570. Again, with price per square meter between 6,000 and 10,500. gonna briefly touch base here. Let's make sure I didn't skip anything. Fantastic. To who is investing in Lisbon? And Lisbon, as I mentioned here, as I'm showing here, it's central Lisbon. It's that part that is desirable, mostly desirable by the expat community that is making Lisbon their home. With 2023 numbers, Americans, the USA taking #1 spot at about 15%. The French, always been here for a while, investing heavily in Portugal and Lisbon especially at 13%, followed by the Brits, historically huge investors in Portugal, mostly in coastal regions in the south, but in recent years taking up a huge chunk of the investments in Portugal as they're moving in with their families. Especially since COVID, lots of people realize they can work from anywhere, and with amazing private schools, great healthcare, beautiful weather, food and wine, it has become more and more attractive to Northern Europeans at a young stage to be moving here to Lisbon. And not just North Americans. I use that as an example because obviously with the US taking the lead, these are not just retirees or seniors that are moving here to retire. There are families in their 30s, 40s with kids in school age still, packing up and making Lisbon, Cascais, the whole region, their home for the same reasons: safety, great schools, good healthcare, beaches, food, wine, services. So if you were thinking about it, you're not alone, okay? And it's not a seniors game. Everybody of every age, it's finding their way here and are adjusting quite well to their life in this beautiful place. Continue here with 2 bedrooms in Avenidas Novas. We use 2 bedrooms anywhere between 175 to 1.5 million. It goes without saying that that's that's apples and oranges. I don't even say it's you can't even compare with numbers between 2,800 and 10,400 a square meter. And this is great to educate you and how different the same area, how different the inventory and the possibilities are within the same area. But when I'm thinking, perhaps again, on the expat palette, the people that are moving here, we're generally sitting here and anywhere in between, right? This was obviously, apartments that would be sitting here at this stage are bigger homes. For a 2-bedroom would be quite a beautiful apartment. We see them often and they're stunning. So much so that you see here, we're gonna jump in a little ahead, higher price per square meter than new developments. So it doesn't mean new is always more expensive, and obviously it has to do with the sales that were registered with the last 12 months. Now moving into new, priced anywhere between 650 and 1 million euros, with the price per square meter between 6,000 and 8,800 average. And here we're gonna look at the price history for Avenidas Novas. Here with the blotted blue line, we have the asking price with a solid line with average sale price. You always see here, if you're watching our content, there's always a big gap in between average asking to average sold. And there's 2 numbers that I look when I'm assisting clients for presenting them. Is the market gap, which is the average asking price to the average sold. In Avenidas Novas is in about 80% difference. But the important number is those properties that are actually selling are selling at an average 7% below. Many listings here, they're so out of proportion of how the price that they're listed for, it's not really reasonable. Many times actually when I'm presenting, especially clients from the United States, they are afraid that my suggestion is going to be offensive to the seller. Right? And I always explain to them, many times they're expecting that. I really don't understand the reason behind pricing it that high. I think there's almost this bit of a feeling, some person who's very obviously wealthy, not to care about money, but uneducated would just pay whatever I'm asking for. But there's 2 ways it could go in situations like this. Is that they will be reasonable and accepted because I will present the case and why I think this is the price, or they won't take it. And it's really at that stage an option of you, do you want to overpay, which sometimes in lack of inventory, if you must have the one property, you might want to do that. And but at least we were educated to say, hey, this is worth X, but if you want to pay X plus because you must have this property, in the long run anyways, for you to get what you want, sometimes it's just what you need to do. But this is why it's so important to have good representation, somebody who's transparent, somebody who's guiding you through it, to make sure that you're aware of the steps that you're taking and that you're paying the fair price for the apartment. And so just a bit here on the sale, we saw a bit of decline, of a drop here in mid-2022, very much to do with high interest rates, but it was such an immediate pickup. And that has to do with a lot of investors, a lot of foreign buyers moving here, many that are not taking financing. So it doesn't really matter. They just want the home they want. They're happy to be moving to Lisbon. And that was a really quick recovery. And here, now in 2024, we see a bit of a drop on average prices. And again, expectations continue to rise. I think that's the same in most places. I still quite involved with the Vancouver real estate market with my partners, as I'm still licensed there. It's an ongoing theme. But for Avenidas Novas, we actually haven't seen, to be honest, a price drop. What I'm really feeling here, those numbers, it has to do with more apartments that are of lower value as compared to a phase of Avenidas Novas where there are so many high-end brand new projects that were really keeping those prices up. We have had a bit of a reduction of those developments in the last 12 to 24 months, and perhaps where we're seeing now that adjustment in pricing on the price per square meter average, but it does not mean prices have gone down in Avenidas Novas. This is really, again, putting everything on the same box and giving you, oh, it's coming down, the average price per square meter, but I really think it has to do with less higher end projects in the market than reducing the overall price per square meter in the area. Moving on here to T3s, 3 bedrooms in Avenidas Novas, ranging from 240 to 1.8. And again, as you're watching, the content is something that I always bring it to your attention. In case this is your first video, of course, I need to explain, is that this here, it's a completely different, it's like a world of both ends. But it's just to show that within the same district, what we call them parishes, you have some areas that are less desirable, that has buildings that are a bit older, of lower standards of building, to, you know, some of the new areas of the prime places close to El Corte Inglés, close to Gulbenkian, close to Marquês de Pombal, that are new projects with views and swimming pools and all of that. You know, the concierge, all the bells and whistles, you expect a much different price. Right? You really don't see for 3 bedrooms, expats really invested in this part of the market. It's really, we kind of see this here and basically everything in between, right? And then with new projects, anywhere 3 bedrooms between 800 to 2.2 million asking price. Oh, sorry, sold price. And with the price per square meter between 6,000 and 9,800. Again, you don't see a lot of difference in Avenidas Novas between used and new many times, just because new avenues, even on the top end, even the old apartments, do retain their value because the location, because of the space, exposure, amenities, and so forth. So here you do, because it's a newer area, when you're looking at the top end, new and used, you don't see so much of discrepancy. And with Avenidas Novas having a lot of large apartments, we have enough data here to share 4 bedrooms and bigger average prices in the area, starting at 185,000 all the way to 2.2. But again, when we're looking at a T4, realistically speaking, we're more on this, you know, 1 to 2 million range. In this neighborhood, to be honest, the sky's the limit. You know, 3 million, 4 million. If you're really looking for that stayed home in Avenidas Novas, and they do exist, you have to pay for the space, right? but you're looking here that average per square meter around the 11,000 to some of this top end product. And then for new, anywhere between 540 and 3.5 million. And not with enough data, so there's 22 registered here. I don't have a lot to share with you as far as the average sale prices on those. Just getting some of this asking price for you to have an idea of what the product is that is being sold brand new in Avenidas Novas currently. And in case you ask, but how come you have 4 bedrooms for 500 and 4 bedrooms for 3.5 million? The way that this information is gathered and the way an apartment is listed once a developer buys a whole building and refurbish and sell it, they are sold as new because they are. The city sees them as new. They had to get new permits, new license, so it is a new building. However, the idea behind this building is very different than anything that would sit here. It's probably a newer apartment, but in a simpler setting, right? And there's nothing wrong to say with these apartments here on this area. They're just gonna be a little great little brand new places, but perhaps the ceilings are not as high, the windows are not as big, and many of those buildings, they have to maintain the outside character of the building. They can't just come and make it modern. They need to keep it as is. Once again, the reason why Lisbon remains its charm and its uniqueness on the appearance, on the aesthetics. Most of those buildings are very highly protected by the city, and generally speaking, the facade is kept. Everything else comes down. But again, in projects like this, you likely won't have everything come down. You will perhaps keep a lot of the structure that is there, but you're rewiring, putting new pipes, new flooring, just making sure the building is in new condition again. And let's talk about the favorite areas from expats. Starting here with Avenidas Novas, which is taking 8 spot on the party 9 spot with just 6%. Still, that's a big chunk, but Avenidas Novas, it's a very big area, still very business focused, so you have a good mix there of residences and commerces. Many people see Avenidas Novas as the busy streets that they explore when they're visiting, but there's very nice pockets of the area that are much quieter, very, very desirable and sought after for families, couples, any age, due to its flat surfaces and richness of amenities in the area. Starting here again, we talked about Avenidas Novas and where it sits, not really one of the top, but Sant Antonio on first, Arroyos on second, Estrela, classic, never gets old, on third. Here with fourth place, Santa Maria Maior, and those again, a little bit of Chiado and some of the areas desirable for pied-à-terres. And Misericordia being again Chiado, Príncipe Real, very, very desirable for expats. São Vicente with Graça, and Penha da França, that is benefiting very much by being right beside Graça. Let's look now at long-term rentals. As I might have mentioned to you, if you're following our content, we do many times find rentals to our clients first as we're looking for the property to invest. And this is to give you an idea of how much that will cost. And also for those who are looking to invest and put it in the rental market, very solid, strong rental market in Lisbon. It gives you an idea of rental prices within the area of Avenidas Novas, ranging anywhere for a 2-bedroom and a studio between 750 and 2200. 2 bedrooms between 1050 all the way to 3800. But to be honest here, majority of nice 2 bedrooms in Avenidas Novas will be ranging here between the 26 and 32. Obviously, again, with some of those really top-end apartments in the region, you will see prices leaning towards the 4,000 for 2 bedrooms. 3 bedrooms between 1,200 and 4,300. And just here's something that I always do as well. I try to, is just to share the history of the rental market within that area. And here we have the dotted line of Avenidas Novas. that is the asking price, and the solid line, which is the lease for price. Very small gap in between one and the other one. And as with most of the neighborhoods in Lisbon, a huge steep incline since 21-22, stabilizing a little bit now. And again, you're looking at an average here, price per square meter of about 22, with the top end product going towards the 30 easily. All right, and here with the 3 bedrooms, we've just spoken about that, so let's just move into the right direction. With 4 bedrooms, we're looking here anywhere between 1,600 and 4,200 for rent of 4-bedroom plus apartments in the Avenidas Novas. And this is it for now. I do hope the information that I shared with you about Avenidas Novas is good. And if you're ready to make the move, feel free to click the link below to schedule a phone call with me so we can further discuss how we can assist you and your family with investing and moving to this beautiful city. Bye for now.